Welcome back to the MLG studios in New York. We're in the middle of a prize fight sponsored by BIC Flex4 Razors. I'm Monte Cristo, and with me is my faithful casting partner, Optimus Tom. How's it going?
Faithful first mate. And
first mate, yar!
I was a little disappointed that you had dropped the pirate accent for a second there, but glad to get you completely back in character and back in proper form. And speaking of getting back in proper form, Team Dynamic's going to have to shake something up and shape themselves up in order to get back into this prize fight. We did have CLG playing against them just last evening, I believe, and they took a best-of-5 3-0. Now we have Team Dynamic already facing down a 1-0 at the hands of CLG, a very merciless beating, I'm going to have to say. CLG just gave them absolutely no breathing room whatsoever, and Team Dynamic just wasn't able to really respond to it.
That's right, Tom. I mean, CLG Prime on this Talk Like a Pirate Day kind of just tying Team Dynamic to the mast and giving them the old flogging with the cat o' nine tails.
We're going to have to see if they're going to make them walk the plank in a 2-0 victory.
I know. Well, if they, I mean, I think that really it's now CLG Prime's responsibility to play pirate-themed champions. Got the Misfortune, got the Gangplank, cat o' nine tails, so we'll call it Ari.
I guess so. We can do
Pirate Tristana.
We can have Pirate Tristana, and then we can have Fiddlesticks, Buccaneer Fiddlesticks.
Oh, Tom, that is brilliant. I love it.
I know.
Right, so we're waiting for the players to join this game. So last game, you know, what I didn't really get to talk about at length was what the kind of team play that we were seeing from CLG Prime was very different from a lot of the teams that we've seen in the past, and they're really developing their own style. The coordination, what we saw early game with Hotshot and Chowster and Double Lift, first getting Golems, trying to keep Hotshot up at full health, giving him a really solid leash at Little Golems, Chowster going with him immediately to red buff, and then Chowster also following to Team Dynamic's blue after Big Fat LP had seen Team Dynamic take CLG's blue. Now, the support following around, leaving Double Lift, of course, with his strong mechanics, probably able to micro himself out of any dangerous situations in that bot lane, especially with Cleanse, which he took that game. And then for the rest of the game, it was really all of the players moving around very strategically, taking objectives, and Hotshot making his own kind of mechanics play second fiddle to his carries. And that's what I think is really interesting about his jungle play, was how much he was supporting his team, not so much with, you know, support champion abilities, but just with the support mentality. He gave Wraiths, he would do damage to Wraiths and then give them to Voyboy. He would travel around with just a fistful of wards at all time, warding for his team. Of course, he did gank, but that definitely was not his first priority. His first priority was getting vision on objectives and helping his team take those objectives and push very, very heavily. So I'm going to have to see if they play this similar kind of style this next game, but I haven't seen a distinct, what I would call CLG Prime style since back when Saint was on the team and Hotshot was in top lane. And now it looks like they've been reborn as something entirely new.
We're going to have to start coming up with better ways to describe what CLG is going to be doing in these games. I guess it's just going to be basically the bag of tricks team. We're going to have to see what they're going to pull out of their little bag of tricks for whatever game they're going to be going on. And now Team Dynamic, they don't even really know what they're going to ban. They could ban Gragas because they saw Gragas last week was played in top lane and mid lane. Are they going to ban Katarina? Do they really want to ban Katarina? Voyboy did some very devastating things with her, but there could be potentially a better team composition to kind of single her out. They're not going to be able to ban away Graze. They could do what teams like Legion have been doing and ban away Soda, or are they going to ban away Cho'Gath and let Dr. Mundo run rampant on them? I don't exactly know what I would do in the position of Team Dynamic, Monty.
You know, the problem is that if you ban Sona, you're going to convince Chowster that he wants to play Galio or Jace. If he wants to go poke, and like that is a much more dangerous lane if you don't have a very aggressive jungler, because that is just going to do so much damage with the Resolute Smite and Shock Blast being leveled first, and so you have to be really sure that you want Chowster to do that.
They are going to wind up banning out the Cho'Gath in addition to Diana from game number 1, and we do have Olaf still being the staple ban against Nintendo X coming out from CLG, as well as the Aurelia from Zion Spartan. Interestingly enough, we had a Rumble left open last game, and they opted to go for the Jace, whether that was to take it away from CLG or because Jace has basically become the staple. The old Yorick was the staple. Learn this champion if you want to play top lane. Aurelia was the way before Yorick did that. Now it's kind of went to Jace, and we see a Nunu and then a Shen ban Shen coming out from CLG this time. They don't want Team Dynamic to get it, and then boom, Alistar being picked up.
Yeah, you know, and Shen, of course, just for that first pick. We do know that Hotshot does love to play Shen out of the jungle, and now Alistar being picked up. This is interesting. I haven't seen Nintendo play a lot of Alistar. I think we did see him play it some at Raleigh. We did, Tom and I cast a lot of Team Dynamic games at Raleigh.
A lot of games,
for MLG. But I do believe we saw him once or twice. I don't remember it being overwhelmingly successful for Dynamic.
He's no Lotta Mortis, he's no Snoopy, but he is very, very aggressive in the jungle, so we could potentially see a very good Alistar coming out from him. We do have the potential of level 2 ganks, but they've also given away Gragas, who's going to have a way to get away, Ezreal, who has a way to get away, and the same kind of champions that we saw CLG preferring last game, just a different range carry.
Well, I mean, we have seen CLG Prime blow the Pirate comp, but again, Team Dynamic can still pull it off because they've got the Alistar.
They do have the Alistar. That was a joke that I should have expected.
I'm sorry, Tom. I can't help myself. You know that.
No, but we'll see if Team Dynamic can help themselves.
Rumble
up some
has
champions.
a pirate skin.
Rumble does.
I'm so excited by this, Tom.
I don't know. Maybe did they sneak a pirate Alistar in there or a pirate Corki? I don't think so.
Alistar, man, it works for the pirate theme. Okay, you got to give them a little leeway so they can actually build some sort of functional team.
Well, we'll see if there's a gangplank being picked up or potentially. Well, we couldn't have a Misfortune now, but had they had the Nunu available, which they don't, Team Dynamic have been running a very aggressive bottom lane Misfortune. So that could have been your saving grace for Pirate, but it's been taken away.
They do, and what they love about Misfortune is that Misfortune Nunu lane. And by the way, the Misfortune Nunu lane is hilarious. If you guys have ever seen it, it literally just, it comes down to, at level 3 or 4, you blood boil Misfortune, and both Nunu and Misfortune just sprint at the enemy lane and do as much damage. Like you just run at them, and you just ice blast the opposing carry so they can't trade because of the attack speed slow. And you just run. You just run them all the way back to their turret. It's really funny, and I love watching it. And that is a Team Dynamic specialty. Rumble being picked up for Zion Spartan. We talked earlier about how that is one of Zion Spartan's preferred picks. So we'll have to see what exactly comes if that Alistar's going to be in the jungle. Hotshot coming back. Oh, I was so excited. Oh man, he's summoning Saint Vicious.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not. If you summon Saint Vicious, you might also summon elements, and then you're going to have an argument, and then your team's going to fall apart. So we are going to have an Udyr and a Lulu being picked up from the side of CLG. Now, as you said, Chaucer has been playing a little bit of Lulu, but Voyboy had also been playing top Lulu a while ago.
Yeah, and you know, the summoning Saint Vicious, I'm going to go with, that is a slight at Talk Like a Pirate Day. Of course, Saint Vicious in the Navy, there's nothing the Navy hates more than pirates.
I hate you. That's all I'm going to say right now. But there is a Katarina pick being hovered over right now for Team Dynamic, and Wild Turtle is going to wind up picking up the last choice, going to be potentially support, although we could actually have another jungler coming out. We could have a support Alistar in the bottom lane, although with an Ezreal and a Lulu who are going to be able to polymorph back and forth, I don't necessarily think we're going to see a support one, but I might just be proven wrong. We have Lee Sin being locked in, so it could be a jungle Lee Sin, and then we're going to have a support Alistar.
Yeah, that's a very interesting pick. I like Paradoxical picking up this Katarina this time. That will take it away from Voyboy, which is definitely something that they're going to want. Of course, Voyboy can also play that Gragas in top lane, as we mentioned last game. We did see Big Fat LP playing it in top lane, but that is, Gragas top lane is like a new CLG Prime thing that we've seen in the last few weeks. Chauster picking up Lulu. Now, he has played Lulu some recently and done quite well, so I'm going to be interested to see how this works out. They don't have an awesome champion to use Wild Growth on. I guess Udyr, if he can run in with their stance, it'd be pretty effective. I'm going to be interested to see if Hotshot chooses to go Phoenix or Tiger stance out of the jungle.
I'm going to be interested to see, you're talking about champions that would synergize very well with Lulu's Wild Growth. Shyvana's on the table. We've seen Shyvana play top lane a little bit, but also Malphite is available.
That is very true, and that is a great synergy. Let's see if they pick it up. Jax will work too, though, with Leap Strike. Not as well as some of the other champs, but definitely a good choice. Voyboy has played a lot of Jax in the past, so definitely a champion that he's comfortable playing. I haven't seen Hotshot play Udyr, and I haven't seen CLG Prime play Udyr since the days of Saint Vicious. So I'm going to be particularly interested to see how well he does and what kind of build he goes for. Like I said, Tiger stance Udyr of course, very not great clear time, but amazing damage on ganks. And by the way, something that if you guys don't know, what you can do with Udyr is you can cycle into Tiger Stance and then cycle into Bear Stance, and you'll still get the Tiger Stance proc if you hit them with the Bear Stun. That's really awesome. So I'm hoping we're going to see that, because that does so much instant damage and then just stuns them immediately. It's a very exciting way to play that champion.
And the one thing, though, is this Udyr style is going to go very interestingly with the way Hotshot was playing Cho'Gath last game. As you mentioned, he was going for very ward heavy, very ward clearing heavy, getting an early Oracle's Elixir, providing kind of a supporty kind of role. Udyr is a champion that we haven't really seen a lot of him in recent play. I believe we saw I Will Dominate playing him at PAX Prime, and that was probably the only resurgence we really saw of him. I also didn't see him going for the more supporty jungler builds by getting like a Shirelia's on top of a Randuin's or anything. Normally you get him be a little bit more aggressive. I have seen Randuin's be pretty much a staple on him for a very long time, especially picking up the harder gold for the GP10, but his ganks aren't as effective as Cho'Gath's were even when he did show his head, and it's going to be very hard for Hotshot.
Yeah, the problem with Udyr and why he's fallen out of style is he's really terrible at engaging.
Yes.
Like, really bad at it. And it's very difficult to get ganks on him because he's so dependent on the angle of the gank and his relationship, his position in relationship to the gank-e, the target of the gank.
The victim.
The victim. And, yeah, so his issue, and he's especially bad when he doesn't have flash. He is so flash dependent for any kind of initiation, and he's really bad. You can kind of counterpick him with a kite comp really easily. So there's a lot of negatives. His positives, of course, very fast clear speed for the jungle, and he can do a lot of damage, and he gets very, very difficult to kill.
On the side of Team Dynamic, though, they have a hard CC in the bottom lane with Alistar. They have Lee Sin, who's going to be able to ult and kick Udyr away from an engagement. We have Wild Turtle, once again reprising his role as Corki, the only AD carry I think I've ever seen Team Dynamic play for the past ever. And he's going to be able to Valkyrie away. We have a Shunpo to get away from Katarina as well. So Udyr's going to have a very hard time engaging. The one thing he does have, though, is he has Voyboy to jump in, get the wild growth from Lulu. They have the explosive cast to knock a target out of position from the side of Team Dynamic. We have Lulu, who's going to be able to glitter lance and slow someone down. And if Ezreal, on double lift on Ezreal, decides to go for that Phage first build to try to get some aggressive trades in the bottom lane, if they get a slow proc, if they get the glitter lance, and Udyr decides to show his head, well, that's basically the best kind of scenario besides literally holding a champion in place for like 2 minutes saying, here, Udyr, come in and stun him.
Right you are, sir. Right you are. Well, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and when we get back, it's going to be Game 2 of CLG Prime versus Team Dynamic. CLG Prime currently up 1-0. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.